Hello, my name is Skip Hinsley, and this is my son James. We are the proprietors of Girasole Grill in Pleasanton, Bighorn Grill in San Ramon, and Pampered Palate Caterin, which is the catering arm of our two fine restaurants. Today we're going to make two dishes for you, each involving prosciutto, which is a wonderful Italian smoked ham. It comes from Parma, Italy. What we're going to make for you is one that is very popular at Girasole Grill in Pleasanton and with our catering company, Pampered Palate. This is what we call a California Cordon Bleu. Prosciutto, a herb chevre, mascarpone cheeses, and fresh spinach, rolled in panko breadcrumbs and baked to perfection, served with a sage marsala sauce. Now, there is some technique to stuffing the chicken breast so that it will not be overstuffed, understuffed, or fall apart when you try to roll it or try to keep it. And I'm here with Ignacio Sanchez, our chef at Girasole, and he's a gentleman that in one weekend personally made 1,200 of these. So we think that he has the technique down.
Okay.
Old guys like me, we're not close enough to the kitchen anymore to do this quite with that expertise.
Okay.
So let's start out. We're gonna make the stuffing first, which is a mixture of shredded low-fat mozzarella, mascarpone cheese. It's a very soft, sweet cheese. A little bit of herb chevre. Now, when we initially made this dish, we used strictly herb chevre. We strictly used, we're going to put in some Italian herbs. It's a blend of oregano and basil and a little thyme. And they're dry herbs, not fresh herbs. You can, of course, use fresh herbs if you choose. And we're basically going to mix all of this together. So this is 6-ounce breast, and let's show the technique. He's going to slice it very thin to open a pocket in the chicken. Very sharp knife. So now you have it opened up. Okay. Now, did you pound that chicken breast out at all? No. That's the way it came. Sometimes, if you get a thick chicken breast, you can pound it out a little bit, spread it out so that you don't have too thick of the meat. Now we're going to take the prosciutto, which we'll talk about later. We're going to layer the prosciutto directly onto the chicken breast. Now, you want to put the prosciutto on the chicken breast because the moisture from the prosciutto and the chicken breast will form a bond, just like the glue, and that way your prosciutto won't roll around. Now we're going to take some baby spinach, which we will put on. You might want to take this little tail off, bitter part there. Notice that you're not covering the entire breast, and you'll see as we roll why that is. If you put too much filling in, it's like making a burrito, really. You'll see it's like making a burrito. It'll fall out. And then, in this case, we're using it's like a 2-ounce scoop. Leveling it off at 2 ounces of the mixture. Now, you might ask what the ratio is from a mozzarella to mascarpone to chevre. I would say it's 4 parts mozzarella to 2 parts mascarpone to 1.5 to 1 part chevre. Again, you can mix this blend to any taste that you wish.
Right.
So we have this. We're on the cheese mixture on top. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. You have to watch the technique. One lobe is pulled in. Now what does that look like? Looks like you're making a burrito, doesn't it? All right, and then you roll it. There you go. Do the other one. Pull it in. Roll it up. Now, the interesting thing that we found out a little bit with trial and error was that if you take this chicken breast now and put it in refrigeration overnight, it will help bind the chicken to itself so that when you go to work with it, whether you drop it in a deep fryer quickly or when to roll the breadcrumbs on it, or whether to simply bake it in the oven, it will not come apart. So now we have the 2 breasts set aside. I'm going to make a couple more. Okay. For example, look at the difference between the two. This is a good point. You can see how this one has been in the refrigerator. I wish you could actually feel it. You can feel the difference in terms of the tightness. And see how nice that bonds together?
Oh yeah.
It really does, doesn't it?
Looks like much tighter and not so.
Exactly.
Huh.
Putting it in the refrigerator's done that.
And that's overnight?
Overnight. Again, if you're doing a dinner party at home.
Yeah, you can easily
Perfect.
do that. And you don't have to worry about dealing with it the next day, right?
Right, yeah. And this would hold for a couple days. I wouldn't want to do more than 2.
Yeah.
But I want to show them how it's done. First of all, we're going to mix in the egg wash, which has, what do you?
Salt and pepper.
Just simple salt and pepper in an egg wash. And how did you make the egg wash?
I use whole eggs. I use 3 whole eggs and a little bit of milk and a little bit of water.
3 whole eggs, a little bit of milk, a little bit of water. Okay?
Salt,
A little bit of pepper. Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper?
Yes.
cayenne pepper,
And paprika. And butter powder.
What was the last one?
garlic powder.
Garlic powder.
So we've got salt, pepper, cayenne, paprika, and garlic powder mixed in with the breadcrumbs. You want to mix them thoroughly so you don't have clumps.
Of any of them.
You know, once you've done this, you know, you can keep these for a long time.
Right.
I mean, you can use a breading of this nature on seafood, fish, a variety of different things to create a flavor.
You rolling it in flour first?
Yep, with flour. In the egg wash. And then in the breadcrumbs. One coming and gets it. Notice he's tossing around, making sure that the breadcrumbs are patted and they adhere to the outside of the chicken. And now you have your stuffed chicken breast ready to go. Now, I would not, we said earlier that you could prepare this the day before. I wouldn't bread it. I wouldn't egg wash it and bread it the day before, because you put it into the refrigeration and it'll sog up from the moisture that's in the refrigerator. But you can do everything up to that point, so that, and you could actually make your breading mixture up, just keep it outside covered, and that day when you went to cook, you could just finish it off. Okay? Now, this is a little technique we use
In the restaurant?
to sear the breadcrumbs to the chicken, because then we are capable of storing this seared breast, which is not completely cooked, in refrigeration until the day that we want to bake them off, roast them off. You notice that it's just a very, very short period of time. Now, some of your purists will say, oh my goodness gracious, what about all that grease? But actually what happens is the grease will drain off.
Nice.
Here's our chicken. We had 2 breasts. We put them in the oven about 30 minutes ago. Is that correct? Yeah, about 30 minutes ago. And they're probably done at this stage of the game. Notice one of the techniques was we put them on a rack instead of laying flat on a pan. And the reason they're on the rack is so the heat goes underneath with the air as well, and it even cooks.